And a lot of people are saying, oh, everything is she was Caitlin before Caitlin, she's better than Caitlin and all this stuff. That kind of stopped in the media. Caitlin Clark put up better numbers in the WNBA than Paige did in college.
We're not creating this rivalry. We're not saying they hate each other, but they are two of the best in the game right now.
Why hasn't Middle America given Paige Bueckers the Caitlin Clark treatment?
2 minutes ago, Paige Bueckers was crowned the number 1, first overall pick in the WNBA draft. The cameras were flashing, the analysts were raving, and the headlines exploded.
We want to see Caitlin Clark, and we want to see Paige Bueckers.
Caitlin scored more points per game, but Paige was more efficient.
Dallas just landed a star, and the league is buzzing. But behind all the hype, there's a cold, hard truth no one wants to admit. Paige Bueckers can never be Caitlin Clark. Not now, not ever, and it has nothing to do with talent alone. This isn't about jealousy or comparison for the sake of drama.
These two were the topic of conversation. Who's the better player?
She's not nearly the player that Caitlin Clark is.
It's about impact, timing, legacy, and the undeniable fact that Caitlin Clark has already reshaped women's basketball in a way Paige can only follow.
The reason that Caitlin Clark is getting all of this attention is because she is an anomaly. She is a phenomenal player. And Paige Bueckers is also a phenomenal player, but it just isn't the same. She doesn't do the same things. She doesn't do the things that have never been seen.
So while Paige steps onto the court with the world watching, we need to ask the real question. Is she ready to live in the shadow of the player who redefined the game? Let's get into it.
Paige Bueckers has had one of the best careers in the history of women's college basketball. And looking at these ratings for the women's tournament, it is abundantly clear Paige Bueckers might be a star, but she's not a draw.
Paige Bueckers' rise to the number 1. 1 overall pick in the WNBA draft was the culmination of years of expectation, recovery, and undeniable promise. From the moment she stepped onto the court at UConn, Paige was hailed as the future of women's basketball.
What happened is Caitlin Clark in her sophomore year and really in her junior year just started excelling and doing things that nobody had ever seen a female basketball player do. Like nobody had consistently been shooting these from the logo passes.
She had the poise, the passing vision, the mid-range game, and the ability to make her teammates look better. She wasn't just a scorer. She was a connector, a floor general who read defenses like a seasoned pro and made basketball look beautiful.
And as long as she comes in the league and she joins the likes of Dejanay Carrington and all these others that are always promoting some kind of activism, she's not going to know. Why? Because sports fans want to watch damn sports.
The media adored her. Coaches trusted her. Fans rallied behind her. But the story of Paige's journey wasn't just about early stardom, it was about resilience.
The women of the WNBA will continue their jealousy. They'll continue to hit, fight, knock Caitlin Clark on her ass, and Caitlin Clark's viewing will just go up, up, up.
The WNBA draft ticket prices have come out, and thanks to the Caitlin Clark effect.
After an explosive freshman season that earned her National Player of the Year honors, Bueckers' momentum was abruptly halted by injuries that sidelined her for significant stretches of her college career.
Paige Bueckers is woke as hell. She's going to come into the league and join the WNBA activism. She's probably not going to be embraced over that because we are sick of it.
At times, the basketball world wondered if the spotlight had moved on. But Paige never stopped working.
And the way that she brought a pretty average Iowa team to bring them to the championship, not once but twice. She was an underdog story. And Paige Bueckers, for as great as she is not an underdog.
She battled through rehab, silence, and skepticism to return to form, and when she did, it was with a quiet fire. She didn't scream for attention, she earned it.
Yo, man, we should be talking about her the way we talked about Caitlin Clark last year.
People will hate Caitlin Clark for any reason and make it about race.
We got Caitlin, we got Paige, we got Juju. Who do you think will shine the brightest?
Well, that's exactly why I'm not picking Caitlin Clark.
Her senior year showed that she hadn't lost a step. If anything, she had matured into a smarter, stronger, more complete player. And when Dallas locked in on her as their top pick, it wasn't just about talent. It was about belief.
The media was claiming that women's college basketball was set up for success. The Sweet 16 games on ESPN averaged just under 3 million viewers, down 50% compared to last year. There is a huge difference between a star and a draw.
The Dallas Wings needed more than just a good player. They needed a leader.
Yeah, she's displaying some skill right now that's like, and she moving fast. Like, it look like she don't look.
Coming off a disappointing 9-31 season, the franchise was desperate for a reset. And in Paige, they saw a foundation. Her arrival wasn't hyped up for shock value. It was calculated, even inevitable.
Caitlin Clark also blew up before the Angel Reese thing. That is a myth. She blew up before. Go look at the ratings for the games before then. Go look at the attendance for the games before then. It was already an organic thing.
Analysts immediately pointed out her chemistry potential with Arike Ogunbowale, one of the league's most electric scorers. Paige's ability to play the point guard position at a high level could be exactly what Arike needed to thrive even more. In interviews, Paige described herself as a sponge, ready to learn and embrace the next chapter.
Yet, instead of appreciating Clark for leading the WNBA out of the abyss and into the mainstream conversation, mean girls and race clowns met her with resistance. Because Caitlin Clark's white, that's why little girls have gravitated towards her. I think what she's saying is ridiculous, and to tie it to little girls, you're going as low as humanly possible at this point.
That humility, especially coming from a player who has been under the national spotlight since high school, speaks volumes.
If I was the WNBA, I would have considered a separate television package to a network on just Caitlin Clark games. I would have had two packages, the WNBA package, and then a separate, let's say 15 to 18 game Caitlin Clark package.
The Wings didn't just draft Paige Bueckers, they invested in a new identity. She brings more than talent. She brings culture.
Who's going to be the next face of the NBA? We don't get to decide that. The marketplace decides that. The people have chosen Caitlin Clark. They enjoy watching her play, her style, her energy, her shot. Whether it's because her game mirrors one of the greatest players in the NBA in Steph Curry or not, I don't know what it is. It's an intangible thing, right? Yes, we can say she's a dog. Okay, there's been other dogs. Okay, she's a great shooter. There's been other great shooters. She has it. She's got the thing.
And for Caitlin Clark to have the awareness to drive the eyeballs there, you have to give her so much credit.
The kind that grows in locker rooms, defines winning teams, and turns a struggling franchise into a contender. Her basketball IQ is elite. Her court vision is instinctive. And her mindset, all business.
They like Caitlin Clark because she's not a victim, because she doesn't seem to be angry. And so they find her relatable. She's not playing with anger. She's not playing with a sense of entitlement. And yes, people find that relatable. She shoots logo threes, passes the ball like Magic Johnson, scores a lot of points, leads the league in assists. She's a great, great player, and she plays and shoots and releases the ball like Steph Curry. So there's the attraction to the exciting style of play.
Paige walks into Dallas with more than a name. She walks in with a purpose. But as much as this moment is her triumph, it's also her test. Because while she may be the top pick, the league she's entering has changed. And it's not because of her. That pressure may not be fair, but it's real. And how she handles it could define everything that comes next.
There's so many players who cite you as an inspiration for their games, including Caitlin Clark, who's just absolutely a phenomenon in college. What's that next step like for her?
You know, next steps, gosh, in this generation, right? You have, I think, just so many more challenges of how to handle yourself as an adult, right? You go through that whirlwind of being a senior in college, transitioning into the W. And then the next step is how to become just an even better leader. And so much of leadership, I think, is listening and learning. And hopefully the more she can get connected to vets in the league and just different people and coaches and anyone that she can glean wisdom from of how to just continue to learn how to be as a connected and inspiring leader as she can be. And a lot of that is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So she's already on her way, but, continuing to have fun, continuing to anticipate how people are going to try to stop her and being prepared as she can be for next season.
While Paige Bueckers enters the league as a top pick and future star, Caitlin Clark is already a cultural phenomenon, a name that transcends basketball. Before she ever touched a WNBA court, Clark was the face of college hoops. She didn't just dominate opponents, she dominated headlines, conversations, and even policy.
Most influential female athletes right now: Coco Gauff, 10, Juju Watkins, number 9, Cameron Brent, 8, Paige Bueckers. Number 7, Sabrina Ionescu. Number 6, A'ja Wilson. So Asia's not going to be happy either. Jakari Richardson was number 4. Simone Biles, number 3, right here. I can't quite get past the fact that Simone Biles is behind Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number 1. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number 1.
Ticket sales, ratings, social media engagement. Everything surged the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto a court. Iowa games became primetime events. Arenas sold out. Networks couldn't air enough of her. She wasn't just breaking records, she was building an empire in real time.
On paper, you could make the case that Paige Bueckers has better college career than Caitlin Clark. But this is the world of television, where you're not judged based on your accomplishments, you're not judged based on your stats, you're judged based on your drawing power.
Clark led the NCAA in scoring, assists, and nearly every major offensive category. Her shooting range extended well beyond the three-point line, often pulling defenders so far out it warped the geometry of the game itself. She became known for those logo threes, lightning-fast dimes, and ice-in-the-veins finishes. But what truly separated Caitlin was her mindset.
Oh, she's being denied something, that y'all better treat her like Caitlin Clark. So how can we treat her like Caitlin Clark? She's in a different body of water. Sold out games after game after game. She had a connection with those people that was special. She carried that connection and that fan base to the WNBA. She dominated.
While others were trying to prove they belonged, she was already leading, already defining the moment. That bravado, that fire. It wasn't arrogance, it was belief, and it sparked something bigger than basketball. Clark didn't just play the game, she disrupted it. She walked into a system that wasn't built to celebrate women's basketball on the same scale as men's, and she made that system notice. She attracted a new generation of fans. Young girls started wearing her jersey. SportsCenter started covering more women's highlights. Suddenly, women's basketball wasn't niche. It was necessary viewing. And the league knew it. When Clark declared for the WNBA draft, it became a global moment. Her arrival created instant value for her team, her league, and every single player around her. And here's the truth. Even before her first WNBA game, Caitlin Clark had already done what few rookies in any sport ever achieve. She raised the stakes. Teams knew drafting her wasn't just about wins and stats. It was about relevance. She brought pressure, visibility, and expectations to a league that needed someone to carry the torch into a new era. While Paige Bueckers is being celebrated as a future star, Caitlin Clark is already the present and the catalyst of the future.
It almost felt like marketers were trying to figure out, like, yeah, we have all of these amazing players and these amazing personalities, but can we push the demographic? And then when Caitlin Clark got to the league, the Angel Reeses got to the league, and they might have been fouled hard. The same thing I saw happen with Shamika Holsclaw, though.
You see my tooth knocked out?
Yeah,
Rookie season, Jewel Lloyd. My tooth knocked out. I still didn't get it.
So how do you?
It's cool.
T-Clark, how do you feel about the fact that all of a sudden it was, oh, it's too physical. Oh, they're going at them because they're stars. What was your reaction to some of the new viewers and fans to the game thinking that the WNBA was too rough?
It was a crazy season because we have never had so much momentum behind our league, so much support, demand, viewership, all that, accessibility. But the craziness that came with the new fandom was rooted in something other than fandom, right? And I think that's very evident to see across the board. In a lot of ways, it has not been about basketball. Like, we can talk about, you know, people getting fouled. I just showed you my tooth getting knocked out. Like, that's been a part of the game. The game has always been physical. I can tell you the amount of times I've left with bloody lips and eyes. I've bruises all over my body, even from the game last night. You can see bruises on my elbow from last night. Like, it's just a part of the game. So there was no targeting. There was no nothing.
Right.
That narrative that got spun into, oh, the vets hate the rookies hate the vets are going after certain players. It's all bullshit. Like, if I'm just gonna be frank, it's all bullshit. What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league.
Paige Bueckers is everything a franchise could ask for. Composed, intelligent, skilled, and grounded. But the uncomfortable truth, the part no analyst wants to say out loud, is this. Paige is entering a league that Caitlin Clark already revolutionized. She's stepping onto a court where the stage, the pressure, and the spotlight were built by someone else. And while Paige may become great, she will always be playing in Caitlin Clark's arena.
Monica has figured out a way to make the WNBA relevant and profitable long term. The lady from the BBC, she seems to be asking Monica McDougal how the WNBA can maintain their momentum from last season. There's an easy answer to that question. More than likely, they can't.
Let's start with impact. When Caitlin Clark made her college debut, she didn't just show up, she shifted the gravitational pull of women's basketball. Suddenly, every conversation about the future of the sport included her name. Brands wanted her, cameras followed her, ticket prices skyrocketed. She was the headline, the main event, the draw. Paige Bueckers had a moment like that back in her early UConn days, but it never reached the level of sustained cultural momentum that Caitlin created. Paige's injuries and time away from the court slowed her momentum, while Caitlin's fire only grew hotter with each season, each record, each viral highlight. And now the WNBA is cashing in on a movement that Clark created, one that Paige is being welcomed into but not leading. Then there's visibility. Clark has faced not just competition, but controversy. She's been the target of flagrant fouls, social media smear campaigns, and even locker room politics, all while keeping her composure and continuing to perform at historic levels. She's carried a league that hasn't always protected her, and in doing so, she's earned the respect of millions. She's been elbowed in the face and blamed for it. She's taken hits, both literal and verbal, and yet she's still standing. Still dominating. That kind of resilience builds legacy. Paige Bueckers has not yet faced that level of pressure, scrutiny, or adversity in the spotlight. She hasn't been battle-tested the way Clark has, and it shows.
Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling, and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Yeah.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well,
let's also talk influence. Caitlin Clark didn't just elevate her own profile. She pulled the entire WNBA up with her. When she was drafted to the Indiana Fever, season ticket sales exploded. Merch sold out. TV networks expanded their coverage. Other rookies benefited. Veterans got more exposure. Even players who resented her presence couldn't deny what she was doing for the league. Paige is joining a more profitable, more visible, and more culturally relevant WNBA. But it wasn't built by accident. It was built on Caitlin's back. So when people ask if Paige can match her, they're asking the wrong question. Because Paige isn't arriving to build, she's arriving to benefit. And perhaps the most telling difference lies in timing. Paige is entering the WNBA at a time when the barriers Caitlin Clark broke are still falling. That's not her fault, but it is the reality. Clark was the pioneer in this moment. She's the one who made America care. She made headlines out of highlights, drama out of disrespect, and fandom out of flame wars. She's been both the hero and the villain, and that's something Paige hasn't experienced. Paige is walking into a world that's finally paying attention, thanks to the chaos Clark endured and overcame. Sure, Paige will shine, she'll fill stat sheets and win games, she'll be beloved, but she will never be the one who changed it all. That title is already taken. And that's why, no matter how high she climbs, Paige Bueckers can never be Caitlin Clark. So yes, Paige Bueckers is the number. 1 overall pick, and she absolutely deserves the spotlight she's stepping into. She's talented, smart, and ready to lead. But while the league welcomes her with open arms, let's not forget who forced that door open in the first place. Caitlin Clark didn't wait for an invitation. She created the moment. She carried the weight, faced the fire, and turned women's basketball into front-page news. Paige may one day become a legend in her own right, but her journey will always follow a path paved by Caitlin. The truth is, there's only one game changer, one lightning rod, one player who made the world stop and pay attention. And no matter how high Paige climbs, she'll always be living in Caitlin Clark's shadow. But now the real question is, will this rivalry define a new era of greatness? Or will one name continue to tower above the rest? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Paige or Caitlin, who's really the face of the future? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the truth behind the headlines. Because here, we go deeper than the hype.